Hey guys, welcome back again to Dave's Dimension. Welcome back again for another video. So we're doing things a little different today. I'm actually using the S21 Ultra for our video today. So let me know if you think this is an improvement, or is it a step back, or is it about the same? I would really appreciate that in the comments section below. So let's go ahead. And once again, thank you for tuning in to us here at Dave's Dimension, the channel where chaos and insanity reign supreme. In fact, this is take number 2. We're doing an unbox of 2 figures that I acquired today at a local vintage toy shop that also deals in current toys. They do a lot of collection pieces. Here in Buffalo, New York, there's a shop called That 80s Toy Shop. I highly recommend them. No, this video is not sponsored by them in any shape or form, but with everything going on this past year, it's always good to support your local businesses. Whether it's a restaurant, a pharmacy, clothing shop, whatever the case may be, guys, you always want to support local, because local will always look out for you, and they give you a little bit extra than the big corporate ones. So, we had started to unbox, and then my image froze because I'm using an app on my Samsung S21 Ultra called Droid Cam. It allows basically the camera feed from my phone to access my computer and load up and use OBS for my videos. I really don't know all that much of editing. I just know the basics, so I use OBS for that because it syncs my sound with the video. So there we are. So where we left off, unfortunately the video froze and I lost that clip. So we had just unboxed War Machine Punisher, or Punisher War Machine, I guess you could call him. We just unboxed him. We just pulled him out of the box. In fact, I threw the box on the ground like I often do, because you guys know I am not an in-box collector. I always display my items out of box. Some amazing art on here, especially on the back. And of course, the story goes, after the fall of War Machine, Frank Castle acquires the highly weaponized armor and makes it his own. Of course, on here you can see the art where he's got stamps of skulls across the front of his armor, basically signifying all the bad guys that he's taken out. And I really can't wait to really pose him and set him up. Now, they've done a lot of weathering on him, and which is good. I mean, it's very realistic weathering. Scuffs on the back. Back of his waist. Front. I mean, you guys can see he's got scuff and armor everywhere. There's only one thing I noticed. I don't know if this works in coalition with the props, the accessories, but if you look right there, there's slots right at the top. One is smaller than the other. I don't know if that's a defect, if that's a QC issue, but we will check it out. Now, of course, the accessories you get here, you get a different hand to swap out for the left or right. Instead of having open hands, you have closed fist. And just like with Hasbro's, a lot of their figures, it works on a basic hinge. You've seen this 1,000 times with the Power Ranger figures and also the other Marvel figures. What else do we have here? Looks like we have, let's pull this out. Looks like that's some kind of a stand or something to connect into. Looks like those are the pieces I was referring to as far as slotting into the back, or the shoulder, I should say. Now also we have some other pieces here. This one's kind of a soft plastic. I would be careful about this. Basically there's a baton that opens up and he can, zap people with it as he's striking them. And here's a condensed version of it because they go side by side. And also you have a little gun with the same kind of blue paint, signifying the energy blast. And it looks like this one fits in. Okay, so the slots look like One is for this one, and the other slot is for something else. Possibly the other piece here. Honestly, I really don't know, guys. I truly don't know. So it looks like this piece is kind of a condensed version of this one. So I guess this can go, this would stick just straight in, kind of like it's shooting upwards, like it's just in a standby mode. It looks like that could be it. I could be wrong. If you know better, please drop it in the comments section below. I would really like to know, guys. And okay, so the condensed baton goes in the backside, so he can do like he's reaching back for it and pull it right out. That fits perfectly in there, guys. Now, I guess if you don't want to have the gun out, you can have the condensed version that I found, so that it looks like it's just sticking right up. And then for posing purposes, you can take those pieces out, and so he can actually hold the energy baton like he's about to whack someone with it. Now there are some guns in here. I'm gonna see how well they fit into his hand. So we're gonna, and he stands pretty perfect here, guys. Let me just tilt this down. You can see he stands pretty solid right there. I'm sorry, I'm using a little mobile stand here, kind of a makeshift selfie stick for the camera, so I apologize. Let's pull that right on out. Oh, and these guns, they actually collapse. Or, no. Oh, well, that just fell out. Glad there's two of them here. Okay, these, it looks like these you might want to be pretty careful with, because there's a peg only on one side and the handle can come right out. So, definitely not something for the younger kids to play with. I'll find that other piece right here. There we go. So, as you guys can see, there's a little peg right there. I don't know how well that's coming through. Okay. And then the handle part just goes right back onto that peg, so it can come on, it can come off, and you can put it back on. And for storage purposes, there's a little tab here. I just have to find where on. Okay, it's going to tab right on his leg. You can see there's a little slot insert right there. So the guns are going to go right on him. So that's cool that you have storage. Storage is a thing. It is a thing here. If I stop dropping things, that is. Jeez. There's one. Let's put the other one in there on the other side. So yeah, there we go. Guns are on both sides. You can unpeg them and put them in his hands if you want. Like I said, it is a thing you could do. So here we are, War Machine. Or should I say, Punisher Machine. I really like the look of this. I mean, this is pretty badass. I'm going to try and take some still shots and include that in the video so you guys can see that. So I will be right back, and then we'll move on to the next figure, which is War Machine from Avengers. Okay, and we're back. Sorry for that little pause. And you're going to see some videos, or not some videos, but some pictures I took of the figure just in a couple different poses. I'm not an expert at posing, so please excuse any kind of chaos. So we got Batblade here. We're going to cut through the tape so we can open this up. And we're going to check out Rhodey. Now, neither of these figures come with an additional head. So, that would have been cool if they would have had an additional head, but not the case. But these are still cool nonetheless. So, here we are. Got Avengers Endgame art for Rhodey. And says, when the fate of humankind is at stake, there's no mission too great for U.S. military officer James Rhodey Rhodes, a.k.a. War Machine. And he is listed as part of a Build-A-Figure, or he's part of a collection where you can build figures. So let's get right on into him. Okay, so let's just go through his accessories very quickly. Nice massive cannon right there. That's obviously going to mount onto his shoulder. We have some more weapons. I mean, he's War Machine. Of course, he's going to have tons of weapons. And we're going to compare him with Punisher. But, I mean, there's, just looking at him, there's really, I mean, he's so much beefier. I mean, of course, you got to figure this was Avengers Endgame, so this was the whole, you know, the biggest, baddest. You got to have all your weapons ready. Now, his arms they don't have a whole lot of bend because of the bulk of the armor that he's wearing. And I really do like the look of this. I mean, in a way, this almost looks like an evil face. In a way, like you get the eyes right here. Like it's just, I mean, just imagine this coming out of a dark cloud or smoke. You see just the red lights coming through. I mean, you would be freaking out pretty bad. Now, this has a designation of 005, or is that 6? That might be 6. So, obviously, this is the 5th or 6th iteration of the War Machine armor, at least in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, we don't see any weathering because obviously this was brand new armor for him. But I like that it also represents his Air Force right on the shoulder. Air Force symbol. Let's see if the further I get this away, focus is a little bit better. So there's that. Looks like a little bit of weathering, or it could be QC paint issues on the back. But on a figure like this, if there is any kind of worn battle damage, I mean, that just goes, it just helps it out. So we have, we only have one little shoulder joint here, so this is where this cannon is going to go. If I can get it on there. It works on a ball joint, so you kind of have to play with it to get it in there. There we go. He's got his nice big massive cannon, which you can kind of move side to side. So there is some movability to it. Movability, is that a word? Well, it's a word for me now. There's no other flaps or anything here. You can see he's got some thrusters. The torso looks like it's a little off kilter, maybe a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Now we have these two big cannons, and they look like big massive plasma rifles, if you will, but they do have pegs here, and I'm imagining these pegs are going to fit into a slot so he can just kind of keep them as storage. Now, do they fit in his hands? Yes, of course they will. There's one. Let's see if we can get this. So we'll have to use his other hands, because his right hand is a closed fist. No, we don't have any additional hands to swap that hand out with. So I'm guessing we're going to have to stow this gun right on the side. I mean, I guess you could put both rifles down on his leg like that. You know, have it at the ready if he was going to pull it out and start shooting people. Yeah, this fist is a closed fist, so there's no open hand. So that's, I mean, I get that for, you know, he can go ahead like he's going to fly and punch someone. So there is that. It would have been cool if they had an extra hand in here, just so you can, you know, have it where he's blasting with... Oh, okay, never mind. I take that previous statement out. These guns actually can go... You can either have it like with him holding it like that, or they actually peg on the underside of his forearm. So that is an oversight on my half. I did not see that, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah. So now we have him coming right at you with both guns and with an open hand. So you could take accessories from other figures potentially and put it right in his hand potentially. I mean, his left hand is designed so you can hold a gun. So that is a thing you could do. I mean, like you saw just a moment ago, I had him holding this. How's that, guys? Is that better? I mean, that looks pretty badass, but also the fact that you could have that hand open and just have his weapons right there. That's pretty cool, too. So here we are. War Machine from Endgame. Pretty badass. He's got his rocket boot thrusters right there, and of course the peg holes you can use if you have any kind of figure stands that you want to use to display him on. Just the whole look, I mean, this is probably the most badass version of Rhodey that we've seen so far. Yeah, I'm sure they could have added another weapon on this side, you know, kind of balance it out, or maybe something, some kind of like missile rocket launcher that goes on the side. But I mean, he's War Machine. He's got quite a few weapons as it is. Now, let's compare him with Punisher War Machine. I mean, it's pretty much night and day. I mean, yeah, Punisher looks pretty badass, but I mean, when you look at it, Rhodey's got height on him. So, height and a lot more armor. I mean, I would say Punisher is definitely more akin to the shape and frame of Iron Man than he is to War Machine. But I'm going to love posing these guys side by side. And I am going to try and take a few stills of War Machine so you can see that before I give my final thoughts on this. Okay, so my final thoughts on these figures are this. If you have, I'm sorry guys, allergies. If you have the means, I highly recommend jumping on these guys. They range from your basic price of $19.99 on Hasbro Pulse. I believe at the moment they are currently out of stock, but a lot of times Hasbro will restock. You'll see them on average ranging anywhere from $24 to probably $27 or even $29, depending on your local comic book retailer, toy store. I haven't actually seen these in Walmart or Target recent. You could try GameStop, but these have been out for a little while, so that may be a little bit harder to find. I would try your local comic book and collector shops. That's probably going to be your best bet. You could try eBay, of course, but of course, you know, those guys, they're trying to, you know, whatever, they're trying to recoup a few bucks off of it, so you might wind up paying a little more. But it is what it is. I mean, that's the price we pay for waiting to get these guys. I mean, these guys have technically been out for a while. I saw them. I said, what the hell? I might as well get them. Odds are I'm not going to run into them again anytime soon. So, there we are. The War Machine, I mean, he is very stable. He is very solid. You will not have any problem getting him to stand on his own. I mean, there we go. I mean, he's nice and solid. You don't necessarily need a stand for him. Punisher, he's mostly solid. It's just you have to set up his legs just right. Okay? He is very stable. He's much more stable than I would say the bulk of the Power Ranger figures. With the exception to maybe Goldar when it comes to Power Ranger Lightning Collection. But for the most part, I mean, that's the thing. Marvel and Hasbro, they excel at the creature or the more armored looks. When it comes to actual faces, sometimes they do great, sometimes they don't. At least on the Power Ranger side. I actually also ordered some more Marvel Legends. Peter B. Parker and Miles Morales from Spider-Verse. So I'm excited to get those. I'll let you guys know as soon as I get them because I'll do an unbox and drop a video. But, I mean, all in all, I mean, these are... I mean, aside from the gun being a little flimsy, but it has to so it can convert, and so you can peg it on his leg for storage. Okay. For the most part, I mean, this is pretty awesome. I love the little weapon right there. Basically, I have the weapon in his hand, the one that stows right into his shoulder right there. And of course, we have the condensed version of his gun, his cannon that comes out. You can take that little cannon piece and just stow it right into here. I mean, that's perfectly fine, but I really like having that cannon out. I mean, to me, that just shouts War Machine, and it shouts Punisher. I mean, Frank Castle would have his guns out at the ready at any given moment, so there's that. I mean, come on, that's just amazing. And going back to Rhodey, I mean, this is definitely the pinnacle of his armor. I'm really hoping that Endgame was not the last time we'll see Rhodey. I'm hearing rumors that he's supposed to be making an appearance in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Also, here's another thing. His shoulder armor right here. This is actually soft plastic. You can kind of squeeze it and it's soft here. So I like that they did that to help with the arm movement. I'm sorry, guys. But to me, this is his most badass armor. That is until we see him pop up again. I would love to see him either pop up, if he does pop up in Winter Soldier, the TV series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or if he pops up in the new Spider-Man movie that they're making. I mean, with Tony being gone, I mean, Peter's, pretty much going to be on the run. And he's going to need a mentor. He's going to need somebody to look out for him. And let's face it, Rhodey's always been that guy to kind of like look out for, the Avengers. So try and look out for Tony. Now, with Tony being gone, I mean, Peter's, he was given the glasses. He was given kind of like the Excalibur for him to be, potential leader and problem solver for the next generation. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. So, there we are. On a scale of 1 to 10, Rhodey is definitely an 11. I love this figure. This is probably my favorite out of the two. I've always had a soft spot for the Punisher because, man, I've just been a Punisher fan since I was a kid. And the thought of him in Stark armor, I mean, how could you say no to this? You just can't. That one, his figure, I would say is a 9 out of 10. So definitely, as I said before, guys, if you have the means to get them, please do. Pick them up before you don't want to miss out on these guys. You're going to be kicking yourselves later. As far as that, I'm kind of leaning into, honestly, I haven't had any Marvel figures in a very long time, and this is kind of like me getting back into it, so I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what else comes out. Honestly, on my wish list, I would love to see Scarlet Spider-Man. He's always been a favorite of mine. Ben Reilly. I would love to see original Scarlet Spider come out, or possibly when he took over the mantle of Spider-Man. I would love to see that suit kind of make a reemergence, see it come back. But we'll see what happens, guys. So until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Dimension saying keep on busting, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.